Since 2021, a group of 50 U of L students has been working on a project aimed at improving health equity in Louisville. The team surveyed nearly 2,000 people around the Rubbertown area to track their concerns about air quality. They also found health risks linked to chemicals released in the area are more than 10,000 times higher than the industry average. In West and Southwest Louisville, the areas bordering Rubbertown, residents are predominantly people of color, many of whom also experience poverty. The Air Justice Initiative is now working to get information to people and break it down through an easy-to-understand website. Joining me now in the studio is Megan Poole with the Air Justice Initiative. Megan, also an assistant professor at U of L. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. We want to start with health equity and what that really means and what role air quality plays.
Yeah, so maybe we should unpack what health equity is, which is the idea that everyone should have equal, fair access to live their healthiest lives. And the reality is that as a society and as a city, we aren't there yet, right? Because air pollution plays a big role in this because you often don't get to determine where you live. And so the pollutants you're exposed to on a daily basis can affect your health in a way that more than your genes, right? Like environment can affect you more than your genes. And so it's also easy to ignore because it's largely invisible.
What have you all learned through your research about the way that the air quality in Rubbertown is disproportionately impacting people of color?
Yeah, so I'm actually a writing professor. I'm not a scientific expert. And so I learned about air quality with my students and with activists who live along the fence line of Rubbertown through a group called Rubbertown Emergency Action. And what we know is that air pollution is worse in West and Southwest Louisville than in East Louisville. And the closer you live to these facilities, this cluster of industrial facilities that can emit toxic air, the higher your rates of asthma, heart disease, lung problems, and whatnot. And this is a health equity issue because the residents who live in West and Southwest Louisville predominantly identify as Black, an even higher percentage identify as Hispanic, Latino, Asian, Indigenous, other people of color. So there are a cluster of issues that coalesce in this area around Rubbertown. You have Rubbertown, you also have interstates, so you're exposed to car traffic, and then there's not as much access to what can boost your health, such as like a tree canopy or access to healthy food.
Absolutely. How are you all working to make this information more accessible to folks that do live in the area?
Yeah, so information is kind of how Air Justice got started, because health equity is also about being able to fully participate in the conversations about what affect your health. Because there's so much scientific and legal jargon that go into the conversations about air pollution in Louisville, that's not possible right now. We put the information that goes out locally about air pollution through a reading scanner, and it come out at a master's and PhD level. So you'd have to have a master's in science to read this stuff quickly and easily. And so that's where we come in. We want to translate the complicated science and legal jargon into something that's easy to understand. If there's a 50-page document about whatever facility is trying to increase air pollution this month, we're going to turn it into a 4-page slider that you can look through on Facebook and Instagram. We're trying to make videos, infographics, because different people accept information in different ways. It also has to be in multiple languages, right? Like one text document, if you're working in health equity, one document in English just doesn't cut it. And so we're really hoping that this Air Justice website, which is airjusticelou.org, is kind of like a primer on air pollution, but it also has a lot of resources so that folks can figure out how they want to participate in this fight in terms of activism. So logging odors could alert public officials to maybe there's a chemical leak in your area. So there are many ways to participate, and we really want folks to share their stories, and we want to co-create solutions together. Rubbertown didn't start overnight. It's not going to end overnight, but we want to make sure everyone can have this conversation about how to build a healthy city.
Megan, thank you so much. We want to give you that website one more time. It's airjusticelou.org and debuts on Tuesday.